Listen at home or at work. CKNW.com. You're listening to CKNW News Talk 980. Live from downtown Vancouver, broadcasting around the province of British Columbia and on the Corus Radio Network. This is The Bill Good Show. Now, here is Bill Good.
Talking with James Moore, Minister of Canadian Heritage and Official Languages, and the Member of Parliament for Port Moody, Westwood, Port Coquitlam. Some people are just joining us now on the Corus Radio Network, so I'd like you to go back and just detail some of the figures you gave before the break, because they're quite stunning, I think, in terms of the number of people who are employed in the creative economy in arts and culture in Canada.
Now, by the creative economy, what I mean by that is everything from those who decide to make a film on the North Shore to those who work in the EA Sports here in Burnaby, or who are songwriters, who are playwrights.
But we don't tend to think of them as an industry.
Yeah, but they are. You know, George Will, who's one of my favorite authors, Pulitzer Prize winner in '76, he once described the act of writing a column. He turned 68 this year, and he writes a column on a long legal sheet of paper, and he uses still a Mont Blanc pen. He draws the ink into his pen, and he describes, with a stroke of his hand, creating a paragraph, and then creating a column, and creating an argument, and then that gets put into a word processor, distributed around the world. He gets syndicated, and his column creates argument, debate. It adds to the social capital, intellectual capital of the publications, and people write letters to the editor condemning him and praising him and arguing, and it causes counter-arguments. So with two blunt and irrelevant instruments, a pen and a piece of paper, he's created something from nothing. That's the essence and the definition of capitalism, which is taking elements from lower values of production to higher values of consumption. That's the definition of capitalism. And that's what the creative economy is about. And we do that with movies, with television shows, we do it with music, we do it across the board. So the creative economy in Canada employs over 650,000 Canadians. It's twice the size of Canada's forest industry. It's twice the size of Canada's agriculture industry. And it's more than 3 times the size of Canada's insurance industry. We do a lot of analysis about those industries. We have ministers entirely for those industries. And so more than the economic impact of these things is also the social impact. I mean, how many times have you seen a television show or a movie where you thought it was absolutely wrong and it stirred controversy, or it stirred your conscience, or it allowed you to escape, or it made your kid laugh, or it allowed you to experience a different part of the country or the world that you otherwise wouldn't experience in a different way? It's great, and this is what the social economy and social capital and arts and culture is about. And I'm a conservative, and I'm a capitalist and a free marketeer as aggressively as anyone you'll ever have in your show. But this is a critical part of also the economic recovery, which is why we've made large investments into arts and culture.
You may be a conservative, but you're not an ideologue.
But I think I'm not. An ideologue is someone who puts ideology ahead of circumstance. I don't think that's helpful. I mean, I'm an idealist, and I'm ideological in the sense that I have a sense of how things maybe ought to be, but I'm not blind. I mean, I'm also a representative. My job is to represent constituents and to do, ultimately, to make decisions which in the end will lead to a better quality of life for my constituents. And with regard to arts and culture, it's entirely a conservative principle. It was a conservative government, by the way, that created the CBC. It was conservative governments that have historically invested into the creative economy, again, not for the sake of purchasing votes, not for some empty platitudinal moment where you pander to certain parts of the country, but actually to have a healthier country.
I'm also told you're a big ultimate fighting fan.
Yes. How do we segue from arts and culture to cage fighting? But here we go.
Well, that's why it came as a surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a huge fan of sports as well, and mixed martial arts is something that is specifically the Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is a company within the universe of the sport, is really exploding. 10, 15 years ago, it was condemned as sort of a back alley, dodgy event. But we have the opportunity here in Vancouver, maybe in the mid part of next year, to host what is the largest and the fastest growing sport in the world. The Ultimate Fighting Championship, which is a company which is interested in coming to Vancouver. They've done 2 shows in Montreal, one of which I was at, which is a huge success for Montreal. And they're trying to break out of the Las Vegas and New Jersey fight universe and go around the world. They've got a show this weekend in Los Angeles. They have shows. They're looking at shows in. They've done them in Belfast and Dublin, and they've done them in Manchester, and they've done them in Germany. They want to expand around the world. And I think after 2010, when we're looking for big marquee events for the city of Vancouver to keep the economic, hopefully, push of the 2010 games going, it'd be a great opportunity for us to host it here.
So you're all in favor?
All in favor. I think it's a great event. It's a lot of fun.
Speaking of great events, excuse me, the Olympics. You going to be here?
I will be in town. The way the Olympics, the first week of the Olympics, the House of Commons is not sitting, so I will be here. The second week of the Olympics, the House of Commons will be sitting, so I will be there for some of it. But I plan to be back here and hosting events as the Minister for Vancouver.
The federal government has bought up a good sizable block of tickets.
Yeah, we've bought tickets, but our rule right from the very beginning is no politician, from the Prime Minister to me to anybody, no politician gets a free ticket to the Olympics at all, or senior bureaucrat or junior bureaucrat or anybody. Anybody who wants to go on the government of Canada, work or in any capacity, you're paying your own way, and that includes the Prime Minister. He's said flat out, he'd love to be cheering for Sidney Crosby and Team Canada at that gold medal game. Hopefully we get there, and if he goes, he's going to be paying his own way, and he's said that very clearly, and that'll be the same thing for me as well.
Even if the Prime Minister is there representing Canada, say at the opening ceremonies, you're telling me he's going to buy a ticket?
We're going to be paying our own way to the Olympic events, absolutely. And also, by the way, think of the opening, and this is part of the reason why. I mean, the provincial government. I don't know what the provincial government's plans are with their tickets and distribution, but at the opening ceremonies,
they don't appear to know either.
You may say that. I will refrain from comment. But our government, we purchased our tickets, and we are. The opening ceremonies are obviously a tremendous opportunity for the games. We all know the numbers. 3 billion people around the world will be watching and all that. But at that moment, there will likely be somebody there from the royal, or possibly there's somebody from the royal family. If not, the Governor General will be there. We're expecting Vladimir Putin to be there because of Sochi in 2014. Prime Minister Brown will be there because they're hosting in 2012 in London. President Obama may very well be there. I mean, it will be a moment where Canada will stand shoulder to shoulder with the other countries of the world. And also Canada, we're hosting the G8 this year in Canada. We're hosting the G20 in Canada. 2010 is going to be a remarkable year for all of Canada. I know here in Vancouver, here in the Lower Mainland, we're focused on the games and what the Olympic and Paralympic Games mean. But I can tell you the year 2010 for Canada, coming out of the recession, we had a 2% economic growth in the third quarter. Bank of Canada said they're predicting a 3.3% growth in the fourth quarter. We're coming out of the recession. We're doing well. These investments that we're making in arts and culture and other things are having a good, solid economic impact. 2010 will start off with the games. Torch relay started yesterday. We're going to go through 2010 is an amazing year, and for those opening ceremonies and those moments, we all need to be there and be proudly asserting Canada's place in the world.
But nobody would expect the Prime Minister to be buying a ticket to the opening ceremonies if he's representing Canada, to be side by side with the Queen or with the Prime Minister or the President of Russia.
Well, I'm not sure what the protocol actually is for this specific the opening ceremonies, and it's not an athletic event. But I mean, all sporting events, the Prime Minister will pay for his tickets. The tickets for the opening ceremonies, by the way, are as low as I think $100 or $125 for the upper reaches. I don't know how much they are, but also the Prime Minister will also, I suspect, at some point be recognized as part of the opening ceremonies themselves. So it'll be a good moment.
Calls to James Moore, 604-280-9898. You're with Bill Good on CKNW News Talk 980 on the Corus Radio Network. Call now.